Today we are covering designing Microsoft Azure infrastructure solutions. To find the complete list of questions and answers, please go to the playlist link provided in the description. Question is, you need to deploy resources to host a stateless web app in an Azure subscription. The solution must meet the following requirements. First, provide access to the full .NET framework. Second, provide redundancy if an Azure region fails. Third, grant administrators access to the operating system to install custom application dependencies. Solution: you deploy two Azure virtual machines to two Azure regions, and you create a traffic manager profile. Does this meet the goal? Options are yes or no. Correct answer is yes. Next question is, you need to recommend a solution to generate a monthly report of all the new Azure Resource Manager resource deployment in your subscription. What should you include in the recommendation? Option A, Azure Activity Log. Option B, Azure Monitor Action Groups. Option C, Azure Advisor. Option D, Azure Monitor Metrics. Correct answer is option A. Next question is, your company has an app named App1 that uses data from the on-premises Microsoft SQL Server databases shown in the following table. App 1 and the data are used on the first day of the month only. The data is not expected to grow more than 3% each year. The company is rewriting App 1 as an Azure Wave app and plans to migrate all the data to Azure. You need to migrate the data to Azure SQL database. The solution must minimize costs. Which service tier should you use? Option A, vCore based business critical. Option B, vCore based general purpose. Option C, DTU based standard. Option D, DTU based basic. Correct answer is option C. Next question is, you have an Azure Active Directory Azure AD tenant named contoso.com that has a security group named group.group. Group I is configured for assigned membership. Group I has 50 members including 20 guest users. You need to recommend a solution for evaluating the membership of Group 1. Sorry, it was Group 1. The solution must meet the following requirements. First, the evaluation must be repeated automatically every 3 months. Second, every member must be able to report whether they need to be in Group 1. Third, users who report that they do not need to be in Group 1 must be removed from Group 1 automatically. Fourth, users who do not report whether they need to be in Group 1 must be removed from Group 1 automatically. What should you include to in the recommendation? Option A, implement Azure AU identity protection. Option B, change the membership type of Group 1 to dynamic user. Option C, implement Azure AD privileged identity management. Option D, create an access review. Correct answer is option D. Next question is, your company has 300 virtual machines hosted in a VMware environment. The virtual machines vary in size and have various utilization levels. You plan to move all the virtual machines to Azure. You need to recommend how many and what size Azure virtual machines will be required to move the current workloads to Azure. The solution must minimize administrative effort. What should you use to make the recommendation? Option A. Azure Cost Management. Option B. Azure Pricing Calculator. Option C. Azure Migrate. Option D. Azure Advisor. Correct answer is option C. Next question is you are designing a SQL database solution. The solution will include 20 databases that will be 20 GB each and have varying usage patterns. You need to recommend a database platform to host the databases. The solution must meet the following requirements. First, the compute resources allocated to the databases must scale dynamically. Second, the solution must meet the SLA of 99.99% uptime. Third, the solution must have reserved capacity. Fourth, compute charges must be minimized. What should you include in the recommendation? Option A. 20 databases on a Microsoft SQL server that runs on an Azure virtual machine. Option B. 20 instances of Azure SQL Database Serverless. Option C. 20 databases on a Microsoft SQL server that runs on an Azure virtual machine in an availability set. Option D. An elastic pool that contains 20 Azure SQL databases. Correct answer is option D.